And the Vanderbilt Commodores, one of the best teams in America all year, they aim to win their 4th straight and remain in the thick of the SEC title race today against Oklahoma. And so we say welcome inside with the coach, Mark Wise. Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So Vanderbilt, they're 19-3. They have flourished this season, and they're 1 game out of first place in the SEC. Mark, now they begin the back half of their SEC slate, where they have won 3 in a row, and their playmaker, Tyler Tanner, has particularly thrived in that stretch.
We often hear the phrase, let the game come to you, not Tyler Tanner. Take a look at how Tanner attacks games with what I'm calling immediate impact. In his last 3 games, Tanner has had such a high percentage of production, either in scoring or assisting. He puts his handprint on games early. How does the sophomore do it? Well, his 3-point shooting is much improved. He makes the simple play so many times. In the SEC, he's top 5 in steals per game, and he has what I call elite dribble speed and is fearless at attacking the bigs. Oklahoma, Kevin, will need to get an early handle on the sophomore sensation, Tyler Tanner.
He has been the breakout star, one of them in the SEC this year. 2 of his last 3 games, he's gone for 20+. You know, Mark Byington, you see him there in the huddle. He says Tanner sets the temperature for this team. Also turns up the heat on the opposition as well. And so Vanderbilt, is looking for a 4th straight win. On the other hand, the Sooners, they have lost 9 in a row, and they are looking to snap the skid. These Sooners have been in a number of close games in SEC play. Matter of fact, 6 of those 9 losses have been by 10 points or fewer. And so with Vanderbilt playing again without Duke Miles and Frankie Collins, both out today, maybe that equalizes some things for Oklahoma in search of a win.
I think the genesis of all great road upsets is the 3-point line. So I'm going to say Oklahoma has to at least get in double figures, maybe even a dozen trays, and they can be the hang-around team today.
Just the 5th time these 2 programs have met. Last year, it was a big Oklahoma win in Norman. Now they meet in Nashville. Memorial Gym has certainly turned into one of the better home court advantages around the league during this prosperous season. So OU in those gray uniforms, you've got it here after the opening tap. That's the versatile senior, Tay Davis, who hits that one-hand floater. So this is Mark Byington's starting 5. Tanner leading the way, averaging more than 20 per night in SEC play. And so without Duke Miles for a 3rd straight game, Jalen Washington starts for a 3rd straight. Outside of that, generally speaking, how this lineup has been without Collins. So meanwhile for Porter Moser's team, this is a 24th game, 24th straight of the same starting lineup. It is Xavier Brown and Nigel Pack who lead the way. They average just about 16 points per game, each of them.
And the offensive end is not the struggles for Porter Moser and his group. As you take a look at the 5th-year headman from Oklahoma, back-to-back 20-win seasons, got in the NCAA tournament a year ago. His team has been good enough offensively, especially late in games. They have not been good enough defensively.
When you look at the defensive metrics, they're last in the league in defensive efficiency, so it's they can't go both ways. They play in high-scoring games. They have just been outscored too many times of late. So a nice start for Tay Davis, who after the foul converts 1 out of 2 at the line. And so Vandy came up short. His first trip down the floor on this side, gets back to work. Tanner is the playmaker, number 3 in the white. He has elevated his game every time as this season has unfolded. Tanner picks up the dribble, wild pass, and that's out of bounds. So we showed you Porter Moser. This is his counterpart, the 49-year-old from Salem, Virginia. Last year guided Vanderbilt to its first NCAA tournament in 8 years. And along the process, won the Skip Prosser Man of the Year award. So he has got Vanderbilt off to the 19-3 start. Best 22-game mark in more than 50 years. Darion Reed barging in, going to work on nickel. That's a tough one off the glass.
Talk about a high degree of difficulty. What a good start for the Sooners on the road.
It's a 5-0 burst right out of the chute, and they have been aggressive getting it into the paint.
It's interesting that Brown has drawn the defensive assignment of Tanner. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's best on-ball defender, Davis, is guarding Okereke.
And A.K. Okereke, pardon me, draws the foul on Davis, his first.
Darion Reed fought through some illness this week on the road. Remember, Oklahoma went to Kentucky midweek and stayed on the road, but that is going to the left, off the wrong foot, off the window. I think the Olympic judge would give that pretty much a 10.
Okereke at the line converts one.
Kevin, he's 84% on the year, and that led me to he's an 81% career free throw shooter. Excellent at the free throw line. Nigel Pack will be a scoring-minded point guard.
Davis, count it, and the foul.
Well, this is Tay Davis at his finest. He's got great slasher, attacks the rim, attacks McLaughlin, rejects the screen, hang time, and the finish for the and-one opportunity.
So it is Davis and Oklahoma off to a 7-2 start, and with that, a little more pressure is applied on the Commodores.
You know, Okereke picks up his second foul, so he goes to the bench. Remember, this is a shorthanded Vanderbilt team anyway. You had mentioned earlier, Miles is out. Collins has been out since pre-Christmas, so they hope to get Miles back in the next week or two.
Yep. Collins, meanwhile, medically cleared to return. He is just trying to get comfortable for retaking the floor. So Davis, 6 of Oklahoma's 8 to start. There was a lane violation, so he got a second opportunity there at the line. Here's Tanner, throws one up. Davis the board.
Thought he got fouled, so did Mark Byington. Well, this is a clear out. Davis wanted to ISO.
Well, picked up the dribble and had to give it up. Xavier Brown, that's their productive point guard. He draws the foul. There's another one on the Commodores. And that's the first on Jalen Washington.
Right now, Vanderbilt having all kinds of trouble keeping the ball in front of them. Oklahoma utilizing their dribble speed to get past and draw fouls.
So Jaden Leverett, the freshman from Texas, is going to check in very quickly. Washington sits down. Mike James is also on the floor for the Commodores.
I don't know that Okereke can stay off the floor to the end of the half. I would expect him to come back at some point in time.
Yeah, those are 2 very quick fouls. Davis draws the foul, and now are they going to count that basket? They're going to say goaltending, and so Davis,
again, attacking the rim. My first look was I thought the ball got on the glass first. Take another look. Here's Davis with the finish. Yeah, that ball's off the glass.
Yep.
That's an easy call. Foul down below, goaltending on top. And another and-one opportunity.
So Davis has been in attack mode early on.
Kevin, you know, I attended practice that Oklahoma had here yesterday morning. You would not get the vibe that this is a 1-9 team. It was highly competitive, energetic.
Oh, look at Pat, by the way, jumping that pass. And so Oklahoma's going to go back to work. So they are the aggressor right out of the chute. Mohamed Waghi, his pass was deflected. Reed recovered. Pack into the paint. Nigel Pack, a finger roll. Waghi Wagee goes up, still free, and Vanderbilt secures it. They got a foul on Pack. Where was Nigel Pack supposed to go there? Almost winds up toppling over the sophomore guard.
Yeah, Pack doesn't go over many people at 5'10", but Tyler Tanner only 6 foot.
Yeah.
Take another look. Just an excuse me foul.
I've never, yeah, it was a downward dog.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen a play unfold that way. You know, usually you see the savvy move by the point guard trying to slam on the brakes. This was just, let's slam on the brakes and someone falls on top of you. Tanner draws the foul. And so both of these teams have been aggressive. Vanderbilt in an 11-2 hole.
If you're going to guard Tyler Tanner, you better give as he comes up the floor. Just that little move by Brown to kind of jump out at Tanner, that gives him the ability to blow by. I talked about that. He's got such elite speed quickness.
And he has just been so effective. While we have a moment, let's remind you tomorrow on the network, you've got the 5th-ranked LSU Tigers on the women's side and Flaunger Johnson on the Plains to take on Auburn. That's at 2 Eastern. He has been the breakout sophomore stud in the SEC.
Yeah, he and Phylon, I think, are the 2 best sophomores in terms of making leaps in their play. And they're both in the running, I think, for SEC Player of the Year that we're going to talk more about as the game goes along.
Yeah, without a doubt. After the miss, Mike James and the Commodores are coming this way. And so with Duke Miles missing a number of games in league play, with Frankie Collins still out, you know, Tanner has been assertive and has taken on a larger scoring role, looking for his shot here. Can't hit the floater, still free. And Davis, strong rebounder, comes away with it. Dayton Forsythe passed up the 3 in the corner. Forsythe off the bench and into the game. The sophomore hits Wagee. Wagee got it.
That is 10 points in the paint for OU already in this game.
Pounding it inside. They have been aggressive and assertive. Vanderbilt on this end of the floor trying to get right. Tanner, of course, their leading scorer. We haven't seen Tyler Nickel get a shot off just yet. And so the Sooners, after that foul, they're up 10 as we take our first timeout.
Again, it's Tay Davis attacking the rim on the road. Oklahoma already up 10.
Oklahoma, they have lost 9 straight. However, during this losing streak in SEC play, they have been right there in some very close battles that have gone down to the wire on countless occasions.
Yeah, that Texas A&M game was close at the end, and you and I had the Alabama game where Nigel Pack had the shot to win at the end. The Missouri game, they lost 2 buzzer beaters, one at the end of regulation, one at the end of the overtime, and then the 4-point loss to Arkansas. So, you know, it's that old joke. If it wasn't for bad luck, Arkansas wouldn't have had any luck at all so far this SEC season. So Porter Moser's team has done everything correct, in my opinion, except closeout games. They've really had struggles in the last 4 minutes of the game. But I got to tell you, the way they have come out here tonight, pretty impressive.
You know, based on what you saw yesterday in practice in terms of body language, attitude, you're not surprised,
I'm
probably.
not. I am not surprised at all.
The Sooners looking to get right today. You know, I just mentioned Tyler Nickel did not get a shot off in that first 4.5 minutes. And on the first play out of the timeout, they draw something up for the marksman, and the most effective 3-point shooter in the league buries it.
Yeah, he doesn't need a lot of room. If you're chasing Nickel, you cannot get caught up on screens.
Oklahoma on this end keep pounding it inside, and Tay Davis, who had 16 in that game against Kentucky a few days ago, is already into double figures.
Well, it's pretty obvious to me Oklahoma feels like they can score at the rim against Vanderbilt.
By the way, out there now for the Sooners, Kirill Ielatansa, the 5-man, so they got a little more size on the interior now. After the miss, Vanderbilt recovers. Washington throws it down.
That's what Vanderbilt will have to do. One of the struggles for Oklahoma this year has been rebounding margins. Matter of fact, both these teams are in negative numbers in SEC play.
Yeah, they're in the bottom half of the league. So here is Ielatontsev. His turnaround will not fall. Tanner's got it. Eyes up, a little bounce. Tanner trying to get around Pack. Cut off that time by the big man. How have they defended Tanner so far? OU?
Very physically. Very physically.
Washington, a fall away, rebound down to the Sooners.
Yeah, that's a give-up shot. That means the defense was better than your shot selection.
Very good start for OU on both ends. With Brown on the bench, you got Forsythe in the backcourt along with Pack. Davis to the rim, finishes again. It's a rampage for Orte Davis. He's got 13 in the first 6 and change.
Great execution in the half court. Take another look. Keep your eye on 13 black. That is Tay Davis, who's off to a sensational start. Watch him set the screen, freeze it there, and this pocket pass by Nigel Pack right between defenders is on point. Weak side help is late to get there. That's wonderful execution by Oklahoma in the half court.
You know, he's already passed his season average. And Davis, he has been a great, he's had the openings in the first few minutes of this game.
Do you know, as an old coach, Kevin, how much courage it takes to take Davis out, knowing he needs a breather, but he's got it going? I mean, my goodness, what a start.
Yep. Opportunity for Vandy, perhaps. Can they take advantage of it? They're down 10. Tanner to the cup. Tanner tried the reverse, and it rolled off the rim. He's a little slow getting up the floor.
Numbers.
Yep. Forsythe to Pack. He's open for 3. Jadon Jones secures it. New 20 for the Sooners. See if Forsythe can get an early start going. Forsythe drills the 3.
Remember, in this game last year against Vanderbilt, Forsythe had 14 points. As a matter of fact, Oklahoma ran away from Vanderbilt a year ago.
Yeah, won by 30 in that game in Norman around this time last year. Ball back to the Sooners. So things are breaking their way because they are earning it.
Extra effort play to save the ball and then to go off the leg of Harris. What an effort play.
Yeah, that's Jeff Wonkwo, whose minutes they've been up and down in league play. So the hustle play helps his team get possession back. Forsythe attacks, a drive and a kick. Pack, he can hit this for 3. It's Nigel Pack.
A wonderful catch and shoot guy. Pack has the ability to catch the ball and feel for the seams all in one motion.
A 9-0 run now has the Sooners tripling up the Commodores at home. So they have knocked the doors down to the canvas. That's Tyler Harris. So how are they going to get up?
Well, I think you got to keep attacking the rim. They've got to free up Tanner. They just rely on him for so many things.
Wonkwo cuts through the paint, back out to Pack. Oklahoma has hit a 3 each trip down the floor the last 2 possessions. Pack had that one knocked away, and then there's a foul that Tanner draws in transition. These Sooners are shooting 64% from the floor in the first 8 minutes of this one, and they've got a significant lead. Commodores, you know, we have already seen several of the gold medal-worthy marksmen that are. I give you a little, you know, Olympic tie-in back at some point. We see Nigel Pack, Tyler Nickel hit 3s already at this point. We have several capable outside shooters in this one.
This is a list of 3-point shooters who have made 3 or more 3s in a game. Nigel Pack 14 times, Tyler Nickel 12 games, and so on. Brown, Tanner, atop. So in this game, we figure to have a lot of big-time shooters, and Oklahoma has made 2 of 4 already, and they have got They have got things going their way offensively right now. Vanderbilt has to get the fight of the game back in the middle of the ring. How do they do that? Win one segment.
Yep.
There's no 14-point plays. Just grind out a segment, cut into the lead.
You know, we talked about how Oklahoma has struggled at times defensively. They have been aggressive and physical on this end of the floor. It's been difficult for Vandy to settle into the offensive rhythm.
Yeah,
just 3 of 9 from the floor. I'm sorry,
and a new body on Jones now guarding Tanner, and he's not even helping. I mean, they're basically trying to take Tanner out of the game. And so far, so good for the Sooners.
Yep, he is 0 of 4 from the field.
That's a shot Pat can make. That's late getting there.
Davis has had the hot hand for the Sooners. Brown back on the floor. Xavier Brown hits the fall away.
Yeah, this is what Oklahoma does best, I think. Their offensive versatility. The two guys on the wing in terms of Brown and Davis pack the three-point shooter, Reed and Wagee inside.
McLaughlin steps back and drills the three. That was right on line. And so the senior from Cumming, Georgia, that's the 2-year starting big, steps out and stretches the floor.
Yeah, he was the only bright spot in that game last year against Oklahoma. Did have 22.
Davis lost his footing, falls. They're trying to tie him up. And the freshman Chandler Bing does force the tie-up.
And Kevin, just like I thought, Okereke back on the floor. I didn't think they could afford to sit him. Now he's got to play smart. If your coach shows trust in you, you've got to show trust in your coach by being smart and not picking up your third foul. Understand the value you are to your team.
Picked up those 2 fouls, 2.5 minutes into the game, had to sit down. Okereke has been a very reliable physical presence on the floor this year for Vandy. They are getting doubled up right now. Oklahoma has had the upper hand in just about all facets. Tanner blew by Brown momentarily. Well, yeah, that says it all, by the way, just how efficient and inefficient these two teams have been. Okereke can't get free. That one's off of Washington's hands, and Pack is the lone wolf, but he blew the dunk. Tanner, though, was streaking to get back. He might have affected it. And then we got an offensive foul. Jadon Jones took the charge against Washington. That's his second.
This is why you never give up on a play. Tyler Tanner from behind. What an effort play.
He got a piece of this. Take a look.
Just extends and just gets enough of it to get it kind of wobbly in Pack's hands, and the ball caroms out.
Just what that fractional deflection can do. I think it absolutely hindered Pack's ability to throw it down. Tanner, the tone setter in so many regards, sticking with the play. And he prevents the Sooners from getting one there in transition. He deflects that pass. Now it's back up ahead to Tanner. To the rim. And he scores it. First field goal of the afternoon for the sophomore.
Is that not a signature play by Tyler Tanner, though, to force the turnover and then convert on the other end?
Here's Davis going to work. Davis gave it away. Tanner with the steal, and Tanner all the way. And now some energy back on the Vanderbilt side and in the building. Timeout, Oklahoma, after the 7-0 Vandy run.
Make that a Tyler Tanner run, if you will. Take another look. Top 5 in the league in steals, just anticipates. And then has that elite dribble speed to get all the way to the other end. But that was after the play before where he got his hands up in the air to deflect. He won't get credit for the turnover, but he gets credit for the deflection, back-to-back runouts. And I think Porter Moser has to play it a little close to the vest in terms of being on the road.
Yep. They had at one point, 16-point advantage a few moments ago, so if you add a couple of buckets there, it's actually a 9-2 Vanderbilt run to tighten this one up.
Yeah, Tanner in league play averaging over 20 a game. Has 50 assists, 23 turnovers. Top 5 in the league in scoring, minutes, assists, assist to turnover ratio, steals. Take another look at Tanner after he finishes this play. Comes back up the floor. Trying to get the deflection. But watch him kind of look down at his hand there. And wrists. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
You see he's got that right wrist taped up.
Great catch by our crew.
Now Oklahoma's turn to respond. Wagee shuffled his feet.
But again, Tanner was involved in that. Just a little bit of a defensive show causes yet another Oklahoma miscue.
So they've turned it over now several times the last few possessions. Again, it has fueled the Vandy run. Tanner lights it up. Missed it. He's a better three-point shooter this year than a season ago, but way offline on the first attempt. OU's best offense in the early goings of this one has been early in the shot clock. And now only 10 to shoot. Forsythe, a little too much dribbling. In the paint, floats it up. Forsythe sticks with the play and lays it in.
Yeah, turned a near turnover into a deuce.
So they get bailed out there. They're back up by 11. Tanner lost his footing. This one bounces over to McLaughlin. Could not hit it. Brown pulls the trigger. No. And McLaughlin soars in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that shot. That shot you can get any time, and you've had such success with the pick and roll game.
Especially going to the rim there. McLaughlin draws the foul. And so Devin McLaughlin will be at the line when we return. Vandy has tightened things up. However, the Sooners still lead it by 11 in Nashville. That's a tight one, guys. Texas trying to defend home court at home. Meanwhile, here in Nashville, here's Oklahoma with a double-digit lead over the 15th-ranked Commodores. They got off to a really fast start at one point, led by as many as 16. This is McLaughlin at the line trying to chip away at the deficit.
We talked about Tanner's immediate impact in games. He's had a hand in 11 of their 19 points, either scoring or assisting. And I think Oklahoma's done a bang-up job defending him.
Yeah. The very clever sophomore point guard just finds ways to impact winning. So on this end of the floor, he's guarding Brown. Forsythe has had the ball in his hands a bit more often the last few possessions. He lost it. He's trying to tell his head coach to challenge this one. However, it's kind of early for that.
You know, Cherokee being in foul trouble with 3 fouls, that messes up the entire rotation defensively for Mark Byington.
He picked up those 2 fouls very quickly, couple minutes into the game. Now that is a really reliable starter who plays 25-plus minutes per game. So after the miscue, Vanderbilt's going to inbound it here.
I talked about Vandy needing to win a segment. They did that.
Nickel knocks it in.
Doesn't need much room, does he? They worked on that at shoot around today. Just a little curl off a screen.
Forsythe on the baseline. One to shoot. Wonquo couldn't put it up. Vanderbilt with a defensive stop.
This out under. Keep your eye on number 5 in white. Tyler Nickel, he's right here. He's going to loop around and receive this screen. Good execution, screen the screener, catch and deliver. Tyler Nickel, 45% on the year from bonus land.
Yeah, he's the most effective three-point shooter in the SEC. He hits it at a high rate, and he hits a whole lot of them as well. 12-2 run for Vandy. They're within 6. Back-to-back. Another. Missed it. McLaughlin secures the board. And he draws a foul on the 6'11" Russian, Yelatonsev.
And that's foul number 7, so McLaughlin will go to the free throw line.
James back on the floor. So McLaughlin, he's been a reliable free throw shooter. Vanderbilt's one of the better free throw shooting teams, not just in the SEC, but in the nation as well.
Almost 78% in league play.
You know, I think we've definitely seen the will and the spirit of this Vandy team. At one point, they were in a 24-8 hole right out of the chute. And again, when you're this good of a team, you're bound to make it up. So we have got the gymnastics a doubleheader taken over the SEC network this Friday. It starts with Missouri and Kentucky at 7, and then Auburn and LSU follows at 8:45 Eastern. Back to a 4-point game.
Well, I talked about they needed to win that segment. They did that, and then they're continuing to build on that. Now, who can answer for Oklahoma? Tay Davis and his 2 fouls back on the floor.
Davis scored 14 points in the first 8 minutes. And he went to work very quickly and looking for a shot in the paint. Jadon Jones misfires from distance. New 20 for the Sooners after the Wagee offensive board. Brown passes it up, skips into the paint. Here's Davis on the attack now. The leaner offline, and Washington rips down the board. Jones anticipated that one. Jones denied. Oklahoma sticks with it. So that's a second time. Yeah, Tanner with the transition defense. Brown, good ball fake.
That's the second time an Oklahoma player has shown the ball and taken that extra step to create a little separation and finish at the rim.
That's a foul on Jones.
This is good anticipation by Jones, who denies Tanner the ability to come back to the middle of the floor. Kind of fumbles it along. Tanner again with another block in retreat. The individual effort that he can make without fouling in these situations is pretty uncanny, pretty special.
It was a great shot there. You just saw his eyes.
Yeah.
You saw how the effort leads to the block. And now after that foul, he goes to the free throw line. This is a 1-and-1 for Tanner, who's 86% at the stripe. So 3 steals for Tanner, plus the block. Remember the deflection earlier on the Nigel Pack transition take that he's not going to get credit for the block for.
I'm just looking at this lineup that Vanderbilt's playing with right now in terms of James and Harris off the bench. Being off the bench. They've got 3 wing players that really hadn't been getting a lot of playing time, but because of the foul difficulties and because of Miles and Collins not back yet.
They're already shorthanded coming into this one. Tanner hits the trailer. It's another basket for Harris.
Man, if you play with Tyler Tanner, just run to the rim. He'll find you.
Harris, the latest beneficiary. Davis missed that one. A new 20.
Now, Oklahoma's got to be careful about getting caught up in the emotion of the game.
Pack wants 3. Pack splashes it. Nigel Pack, the prolific veteran of college hoops. 6th and final season.
Yeah, he had been on a real heater until their last game out at Kentucky. In his previous 3 games, he was averaging better than 20 per.
And much more effective from distance as well. He's got 2 from beyond the arc today. Tanner with the clever move in the paint. 4-point game. Vandy was once down 16. They have tightened it up. And a foul on Wagee.
Now this is where Oklahoma has had early success with that really transition pick and roll. You called it an early pick and roll, transition pick and roll, same thing. Sort of a drag screen, early offense. I love it.
That's where Porter Moser's team has definitely been effective. That's one that would be the fun breakdown there, just how efficient they were maybe in the first 15 seconds of the shot clock. Mohamed Wagee, 5th-year senior from the Bronx, 2nd year with the program. He's ascended into a starting role this year. He started all 23. Hits the front end. Forsythe and Reed. We haven't seen too much of Darion Reed in this first half. He is back on the floor. Only 1 player in the double figures, and that's Davis. And he got most of that in the first few minutes of the game.
I was going to say the first 2 minutes, yeah. I think he had 14.
Not much since. Wagee to sit down. Elatonsev back in.
Porter Moser told me yesterday that they're at their best when Wagee plays well. That they need a second big guy to play well, block to block, in addition to the perimeter play of Pack, Brown, and Davis.
Tanner cut off. Tanner spins, missed it. Well, that would have been a difficult one. Now it's Reed in transition. Darion Reed going to the line for a pair. On the other side, competitive first half. Still a 6-point cushion for Oklahoma. Sooners have led for much of this first half in Nashville.
Flan's team, that has allowed other dominoes to kind of fall into place, and the nights that Florida can make some shots to complement that front court. So right now I'm saying Florida.
This Vanderbilt team would know all about that. They played that high-scoring game a few weeks ago against the Gators, lost 98-94, a very entertaining game. Thomas Hauk scoring close to 18 a game for Florida. Right. He's very much in the SEC Player of the Year race, maybe the front runner, if you want to call him that. We got the battle for first place later tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of that, here are the up-to-date standings, and if you'll notice, A&M and Florida tied in the loss column, tied in the win column at 7-2.
Yep. So
they play each other later tonight for outright first place, and Texas just off the list. Texas today had to win that game from this time of the year, Kevin, I think you're playing 2 kinds of games. You're either playing a resume builder or a resume protector. And for Texas today, that became a resume protector. For Vanderbilt in this game, this is a resume protector.
Yep.
But, and we talked about the whole league is starting the back 9 today. This basically is the 10th game for a lot of teams in the league. Yep. So tournaments are only won in the back 9, weren't they? That's what they tell me in golf.
Listen, no more mulligans. Yes. All right, that was for early in league play. Let's get serious now. Tanner very much in that aforementioned SEC Player of the Year. He's clearly playing at a bona fide all-conference level this year. We know that. Who else is in that race right now for you?
Acuff,
yeah.
Philon, Hauk, Tanner.
Here's Reed spinning. He had to get creative there. That's a foul on James.
Keyshawn Hall might even be in that conversation.
Sure. Yep.
The way he's played. But much like the race at the top is wide open, I think the race for Player of the Year right now is wide open between that group of players.
So let's put it this way. Vanderbilt, they kind of shanked their tee shot off into the, near the woods at the start of this game. We're on hole 10. They're
Took an early double bogey, yes.
Had to play from behind the tree there off the tee. Now, they were down by as many as 16 earlier. It's single digits. A few moments ago, they had carved it back to a 4-point game. But we really need to spotlight Oklahoma's effort and what it's done in this first half. Nickel can't hit the deep one. They are shooting better than 50%. Oklahoma is on this end of the floor. And they have limited Tanner at times. So that one does stay here after it was deflected out of bounds.
Yeah, 54% on the road. Impressive. You know, both these teams shoot a lot of threes. Neither team is on pace for their seasonal averages.
Not even close, really. Oklahoma's 3 out of 7. Vanderbilt has taken 8 threes. So Reed came to set the screen. He spins inside. Another loose basketball. Latansev saved it. And Tanner with another deflection. There's only 3.7 on the shot clock for the Sooners. They'll inbound it from the same spot.
Now Oklahoma has a play where Pack takes it out and gets it back. But Forsythe might be the player that does the same thing.
He's looking for Pack instead. This is Jones. Fouled on the 3. Count it. Jadon Jones going to the line for his signature 4-point play, which happens a lot.
The closeout is the complete wrong angle by Mike James. You never close out at a shooter at the shooter. You've got to go by him, stop in front, and go vertical. We see that all the time, though. Just way too aggressive on the closeout, all because you did not take the correct angle.
You know, and this guy Jones, 6th-year senior from Long Beach, at this point, the reputation very well known that he will leap forward on those 3-point attempts. This is a 9-0 Oklahoma run.
Kevin, I was just about to say, it seems to me like these last 3 minutes, really important for the home team. They need to cut into this a little bit, stem the tide.
You know, a year ago in this matchup, Vandy had a huge first-half lead, at one point led by 20. And then Oklahoma went on this wild run. They wind up blowing by him in the second half. They won by 30. So the roles are potentially reversed this time around. McLaughlin would not be denied that time.
You see all the bodies, though, that Tanner attracts. When that happens, offensive rebounding opportunities will be there.
The Sooners have lost 9 in a row. So many close, tight, bitter losses. They're desperate for a win.
I'd go back to that middle pick and roll. Here it comes.
This is Pack with 5 to shoot, defended by Nickel. Steps back, long 2, got it. Nigel Pack.
That middle third of the floor, Oklahoma has owned in the first half.
Shooting close to 60% from the floor. This is Tyler Nickel. That time got bumped off course. A lot of folks on the Vanderbilt side is saying, why wasn't there a whistle? Has not been the most fruitful first half for Nickel. He's only 3 of 10 from the floor. Wagee is cutting. Mohamed Wagee, he finishes.
More middle of the row rolling by the bigs of Oklahoma.
So in these final few minutes, it's Oklahoma that is seizing the moment. Lead is back up to 15 over the 15th ranked Commodores in their building. Tanner improvising. Tanner got bumped. That was on Wagee. So that's the 10th foul on Oklahoma. So Tyler Tanner goes to the free throw line for 2.
We talked about trying to be physical with Tyler Tanner. Here's an example. Leads to the foul.
So the foolish one there on Wagee sends the super sophomore from just down the road in Brentwood back to the free throw line. It's a rare miss.
It's 2 in a row. He missed the bonus the last time he was at the free throw line.
Oh, so Mark, while we got a moment, the Fighting Tiger, that's our next SEC Storage show. That premieres Friday night, 10:30 Eastern. And it chronicles the 43-year career and legacy of the LSU gymnastics head coach, Dee Bro. That documentary is available right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
Tanner has missed 4 free throws in the first half. That's a season high for him. Well, I sure wouldn't go away from this middle pick and roll game.
Jones lets it fly. So we're inside of a minute. Timeout Vanderbilt with 46.4 to play. And sensing here that this is an important possession with his team in that 14-point hole, Byington wants to talk it over.
I think he's going to talk about going 2 for 1 if they can go quickly.
Yep.
And get the extra possession here. I would expect Tanner to get a certain screen around midcourt to give him space to operate.
Yep.
Boy, if I were Oklahoma, I'd be tempted to zone 1 possession. I know Porter's not a big zone guy, but I'd be tempted just to give him a different look in this 1 possession.
Just try to throw them off if they're looking to score in the first 10 seconds. Yeah. You know, this has been, again, you saw it yesterday at Oklahoma's early practice. They've been on the road since Tuesday.
Right.
It was a tough loss the other night at Kentucky. They fell behind late in the first half, never recovered. And they set the tone early on and have led by double digits for the majority of this first half.
You know, at the opening tip, they have come across the ring and landed some big-time blows. I mean, Vandy has basically played this half, I think, kind of on the ropes, backing up.
Yep.
Okereke being in foul trouble does not help.
Remember, another game with no Duke Miles, no Frankie Collins for Vanderbilt. And Commodore fans, they have heard that too many times in league play. Tanner gets fouled, and so he's going back to the line.
And these are fouls. This is not even worth complaining about. But we talked about how physical they have tried to play on Tyler Tanner. This is Jones out front. He's got a hold of his one arm, then grabs him on the shoulder. I mean, these are fouls.
Yes. I agree with you. So Tanner gets that one to fall. Well, you just highlighted it a few moments ago. Tanner was 3 out of 7 from the free throw line. So now he's 4 out of 8. He does have 10 points. He's the lone Commodore into double figures in this first half. It's now all 23 games that he has scored 10 or more. And so they haven't been perfect swishes, but he gets 2 there.
And Vandy does have a shot at the 2 for 1.
6-second differential between shot and game clock.
See if Oklahoma will run this middle pick and roll again.
Pack whips it over to Brown. This is Brown on the attack, finishes at the rim. An assertive drive. And now they're going to stop the clock. Now that time Brown was basically just trying to run back in transition, kick the ball forward.
Yeah, they got the matchup they wanted. Brown attacked the nickel there off the bounce. Just kept the floor spread. Sometimes the smartest plays are the simplest plays.
Yep. Oklahoma with nearly 50 in the first half.
I think they're going to put time back on the clock here because the ball got kicked around.
I would think a couple seconds. All right, so they put a half a second back on there. So 6.5 on the timer.
Watch Tanner inbounds and get it back.
He's got it. 5 seconds. Tanner with 3. Tanner into the paint. The floater, not that time. Oklahoma, 20 minutes down, and it's got a double-digit lead. Shot nearly 60% from the floor and did a lot of good things in that opening period. First visiting team to lead at Memorial Gym this season. Ron Slay, Damian Fishback, Peter Burns are in the studio. Let's go to Charlotte, fellas.
Surprise to me is that Oklahoma has owned the paint, everything down in that high rent district.
And so in this game, where Vanderbilt played for almost the entirety of that first half with A.K. Okereke in foul trouble. They're without Duke Miles for a third straight game, recovering from a knee injury and a recent surgery. Frankie Collins now misses a 12th straight game. And so you mentioned the support. It's got to come from somewhere. Here's Brown dialing up a three right out of the gate. Oklahoma lands another punch. It's their largest advantage of this game. And
of course, they start the second half as they should have with that middle pick and roll game.
Okereke, the fall away. Okereke can't hit it. And so it's one and done for Vanderbilt on the offensive end. Wagee looking for a cutting read as he fell down, somehow found the sophomore, and now it's Vanderbilt on the move. This is Nickel. Nickel gathers the finger roll, get it out of here, but it's goaltending. That was an emphatic goaltending. They'll score it.
First play of the second half as Wagee's a little gimpy. Watch this on the middle pick and roll. When the ball goes to Wagee, look at all the white jerseys. There's 1, 2, 3. That's an easy kick out, and Brown knocks down the 3 ball.
You know, that high rent, that rent's a little higher, by the way, in this city in most places. But Oklahoma capitalizing in the middle part of the floor. Pack, couple of crossovers, able to shake his man into the corner. Brown, it's good. Consecutive threes for the junior point guard from Philly in this half.
Super flare screen in the corner.
Tanner can't answer, stays here.
Oklahoma now 6 for 11 from deep, and on the game, shooting almost 60%. That's going to win you some games.
I mean, they're sizzling. You know, they look confident. They look very confident today as a team. Washington was wide open there. So a breakdown of the out-of-bounds play.
But Kevin, I'm telling you, at practice yesterday, you would have never guessed that this is a 1-9 team. The energy with which they practice, the vibe that you got.
There's Pack. You know, he will step into that long 2. He's not afraid to take the 18-footer, and he cans it. He's into double figures. And that was always supposed to, had been and always was supposed to be a strength of this team, just some of the veteran pieces in the backcourt. You had some mature, experienced, savvy players in Brown and Pack, Davis. Oklahoma has made 8 of its last 11. This is Brown calling for the screen. So now they got to improvise with 5 to shoot. Okereke switches on to Brown, over to Davis. He's looking to stretch it, misses the 3.
That's the first time Oklahoma's spacing wasn't real good. There were a lot of bodies in a small area.
At one point, Brown, Wagee, they got caught up in the same spot. So bounce it down to the big man. This is Washington. Jalen Washington with the handle, picks it up. Nickel. 6 to shoot. Nickel, all he needs is a sliver. Reed secures it.
Yeah, Reed and Wagee are just doing a marvelous job on the glass. There goes that guy. What a response, though.
Vanderbilt with another rejection. It was McLaughlin sacrificing his body for the defensive stop. They got to capitalize on this end. Tanner, nope.
It's a good look. Nothing wrong with that shot.
It's Pack ahead of everybody, including his teammates. And so he's got to back it out. The Sooners have lost 9 in a row, 1-9 in league play. Pack lets it fly. There's a foul inside. That's going to go against Vanderbilt.
Inside as Tay Davis crosses over to go left. Watch the McLaughlin rejection at the rim. Neither one of these teams known for a big-time rim protector.
You know, it didn't even look like McLaughlin had the angle at all. And somehow that reach gets it done. So we're going to take a timeout early in the second. OU in front. officials went to the monitor.
Yeah.
At the tail end of this last play, that was it looked like it was a foul on either Jalen Washington or Tyler Tanner. And so I think they were trying to determine who the foul was on number 1, but they were also looking to see if they were going to upgrade this play to a flagrant 1 on either of those 2 Vanderbilt players. It was close. A little excessive contact.
It was close, but they've decided to keep it as a common foul. So Oklahoma will get the ball on the play.
So Courtney Green says thumbs up. They are not going to be adding a flagrant 1 to the latest play. Why don't we just look very quickly? Mohamed Mowagi nearly got sandwiched there.
Yeah.
By Washington and Tanner.
Should they have called that as 2 fouls on Vanderbilt? Pack, you cannot allow him that kind of catch and shoot. That's in his wheelhouse.
The prolific college hoop scorer surpassed 2,000 career points back in January, and he extends Oklahoma's lead to 19. Where does Vanderbilt go for answers? Reed jumps the passing lane, kept it in bounds, and Brown finishes. Timeout, Vandy. The Sooners have a 21-point lead on the road in a game they are desperate to win. Vanderbilt needs a minute to talk things over. They're on the wrong end of a one-sided score.
The turnover, but right there is the deflection that leads to the turnover, and then Tanner converts on the other end. Active hands, Tyler Tanner, an expert at doing those kinds of things on the defensive end.
You know, he's got great instincts. Obviously, his team is in a 21-point hole. However, it still doesn't shrink his importance, how impactful he is. He's got terrific instincts. You know, Mark Byington and the Commodores, they knew he was going to take a production jump this year. To this extent, they're pleasantly surprised.
Right. I had a chance to sit down, had a wonderful chat with him yesterday. How about E.L. Atanza being a factor defensively?
Yep.
Where Vandy just looks so discombobulated.
That's going to stay here with Oklahoma. They have rarely, outside of the, mini 9-2 run in the first half, they have rarely been able to seize momentum back.
You don't ever feel like they've been in a flow in this game. Now, credit Oklahoma.
Yep.
Because Oklahoma's offense has been so good.
Yeah, they're shooting close to 60% from the floor good. They've converted from distance. They converted at the free throw line. So the pressure has just been on Vandy from the jump. This is Brown, another triple, misfires. So the Commodores have to get to work. But Oklahoma has undoubtedly, and the way it has played, that has been the story. Tanner's going back to the free throw line.
It's almost like the game plan for Oklahoma was not allow Tanner to score at the rim. They're willing to live with Tanner at the free throw line. They've caught a couple of breaks because today in the game he's only 5 for 9, going there for 2 more.
Women's Hoops takes over the SEC Network every Sunday. 4 games for you tomorrow, but we're going to spotlight this 2 o'clock battle between LSU and Auburn. Flau'jae Johnson, she is the 4-year starter now for LSU. Has got the Tigers in prime position once again in the SEC title race. By the way, so you've got the Vanderbilt men. Here they are, 1 game out of first place. That was entering today. On the women's side here in Nashville, they too are in the thick of the SEC title race.
Yeah, big win on the road for the Vanderbilt women at Kentucky. Michaela Blakes, I think, went for 37. If you have not seen Michaela Blake's play, shame on you.
And if you haven't, your next opportunity is Monday right here in this building. It's going to be Vandy in Oklahoma on ESPN2. Well, that's another top 15 battle in the SEC on the women's side. Forsythe was he was trying to will it in. It ricochets out. Tanner a spin. Tanner to the basket. Couldn't finish. Back out to Nickel. He's open. 4-3.
They're trying to get this crowd into it, aren't they?
Six seconds for Pack to improvise. He attacks. His layup is offline, but a foul.
Yeah, this is going against Bing. Weak side glass. It's good defensive patience that time by Vanderbilt, but you've got to be one and done on the glass. This is going to happen after the shot. Watch as Bing slides down and just kind of pushes Iela Tanza out of the way. That's a foul. That's a foul.
Everybody on the Vanderbilt side very frustrated after that one.
And they're going to let Brown attack Okereke.
Over to Davis. He spins up with the right. Vanderbilt is on a mini 5-0 run. Tanner going behind the back. Couple of crossovers. He throws it away. That was Xavier Brown. It was right there to smother him. Lob it up. Wagee is fouled. Goes down hard. And Mohamed Wagee will be at the free throw line momentarily.
After the Tyler Tanner turnover, good hands by Brown, as you called, coming right at you on the lob. That's the right read because the defender was in no man's land. McLaughlin picks up the foul, and they're going to take a look at this.
Yeah, I would assume that maybe Porter Moser was appealing to our crew to take a peek if Wagee was maybe pulled
Previous
down.
play is under review.
This is on the throw over. McLaughlin from behind. Oh, there's the excessive part. Yes, this is going to get upgraded. He's airborne. It's the pull down. It's not on the foul on top. It's right there.
Yeah.
I'll be really surprised if this isn't upgraded to an F1.
I wouldn't be surprised either. He made a legitimate play on the ball with his left hand initially, and then that little bit of a pull down.
I think that qualifies. The key word in the F1 world is, and I'm thinking now about,
which world are we
race
talking about?
cars,
Yeah.
in the flagrant one world is excessive. That's the key word. Is it excessive?
Yep.
And I just feel like it's the back end, not the foul on top. But as he's coming down, he grabs the shoulder.
You know, some other language they use is when it's not a legitimate play on the ball. And so does that constitute not a play on the ball? Yeah. And so Todd Austin just came by to confirm this is going to be an F1, flagrant one. It was on that pull
After
down.
review, the foul has been upgraded to a flagrant one on 99. The pull on the shoulder, which took him off the rim, is a flagrant foul. They'll be shooting 2 free throws. Oklahoma will get the ball on the baseline with a 20-second shot clock.
So it's really well explained there from Courtney Green. It's right here.
Yeah, it's right there. It's the pull down. Yep. So this will be 2 shots and the ball.
Mohamed Wagee is going to be in the ice bath Yes. I think after this one, he's gotten pushed around like a hockey player at some times underneath today.
But it doesn't seem like a big deal. But he's 6 and 6 today. 6 points, 6 rebounds, and we've still got 13 minutes to go. Now he is an average, and I'm being kind, average free throw shooter at 60%. But there's no question, Porter Moser told me yesterday, Wagee is our X-factor guy.
And today, when in a game in which Oklahoma has taken it into the paint, he has been a factor. And so his team now inbounds it underneath the hoop with the double-digit lead. A double-digit lead it has had since not just halftime, but since early portions of the first.
Adjustment, Vanderbilt started switching the ball screens.
Forsythe, I think he dragged the pivot foot that time. Yep, that is travel. Tanner and the Commodores down a significant margin. The 3 ball is up, and it's out. But it's a foul, though, on Oklahoma.
This is a good job by Bing being active on the offensive glass. Again, I say this all the time. You never want to be the picture taker if you are thinking about being a good offensive rebounder. Put your camera down and get in the picture. Bing, again, being active. Gets bounced around that time, I think, by Davis. Boy, look at Brown guard Tyler Tanner up top. Just
completely denied.
Yes.
Bing has to hoist it. So Bing is rewarded. He did some nice work on that sequence. Tyler Tanner today, 4 of 15 from the floor. He's turned it over 3 times. Oklahoma has been all over him. Brown to the basket. Xavier Brown is right at his season average now. He has 16. Most of that here in the second.
Yeah, but where did that drive originate from? Again, down Main Street.
It's a foul on Wagee.
Xavier Brown turns the corner. A guy averaging almost 17 a game. Easy finish off the window. Sooners on top on the road.
They aim to win their 4th straight and remain in the thick of the SEC title race today against Oklahoma. And so we say welcome inside with the coach, Mark Wise. Kevin Fitzgerald with you. So Vanderbilt, they're 19-3. They have flourished this season, and they're 1 game out of first place in the SEC. Mark, now they begin the back half of their SEC slate, where they have won 3 in a row, and their playmaker, Tyler Tanner, has particularly thrived in that stretch.
We often hear the phrase, let the game come to you, not Tyler Tanner. Take a look at how Tanner attacks games with what I'm calling immediate impact. In his last 3 games, Tanner has had such a high percentage of production, either in scoring or assisting. He puts his handprint on games early. How does the sophomore do it? Well, his 3-point shooting is much improved. He makes the simple play so many times. In the SEC, he's top 5 in steals per game, and he has what I call elite dribble speed and is fearless at attacking the bigs. Oklahoma, Kevin, will need to get an early handle on the sophomore sensation, Tyler Tanner.
He has been the breakout 6 seed, Auburn a 7 seed. These Commodores who are in the 17-point hole right now, they're one of the higher projected seeds according to Joe Lunardi.
Yeah, that's why I felt like Texas had to win today. Georgia's lost 3 in a row. And we talked to Mark Byington because his team lost 3 in a row earlier on. And if you're going to play in this league, and no one is arguing that the league is as good as it was last year at the top. But the depth of this league is just as good as it was last year. So you're going to lose 1, 2, 3. How can you get back on the right track? Vanderbilt has done it. Now Georgia's looking to do it later today.
You got to be resilient. You know, it seems so simple, but the ability to move on quickly from a loss or a win. Boy, Vanderbilt's out of bounds that time. Harris was on the end line.
Yeah, he fumbled the pass, and that kind of threw him off kilter.
By the way, you heard Peter Burns reference Charles Bediaco, the injunction hearing yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're going to be awaiting this decision, whether or not that will be upheld for the remainder of the year.
And let's hope that comes sooner versus later.
Yep. Still got a lot of season.
This is a Vanderbilt lineup now with McLaughlin getting a breather. Really doesn't have a true 5-man. So Washington is kind of playing that role, if you will. Now he's got the size, and as soon as I say that, here comes Okereke back in. When you throw Okereke and Washington together, I mean, they're both kind of 4-men. But when they're on the floor together, at least you have a bigger presence. He can shoot it from there.
Don't give him too much space. Nigel Pack down and out. Another rebound for Wagee. He's had several big offensive boards. Forsythe nails it. They're back up by 20.
But that X-Factor guy, Wagee, with the offensive rebound and the assist on the kickout. Oftentimes, three-point shots are the best after an offensive rebound. Why? Because the defense is scattered.
The Sooners, they have flummoxed Vanderbilt to this point. They have remained in front by double digits for the majority of this game. So after the foul, this one's going to stay here.
Kevin, after that run that Vanderbilt made in the midpoint of the first half, I can't remember them getting on a 4-point, 6-point, even a little mini run offensively. That's how good Oklahoma has been today.
Latanza back on the floor. Nickel is back in there for Vanderbilt. You know, the other element is this. You know, it goes without saying, if you remove a really prolific playmaking guard like Duke Miles,
right,
who can go for 16, 17 a game, it's a lot of production to have to make up for. Now, they fared well without him the last 2 games. That's consecutive wins against Kentucky and at Ole Miss. Tonight's a different story.
One of the most misused terms, I think, in athletics is next man up. Because if the next man up was as good as the guy who's replacing, you wouldn't be the next man up.
More of a positive war cry than a worthwhile winning theory, perhaps. 4 to shoot. Nickel looking to get free. Leans in, can't finish. Tap back up. That's Washington, or pardon me, Okereke. Got his fingertips on it. Just the second basket for Okereke today. Matter of fact, you know, his only other points were free throws. That is his first field goal of the afternoon. This goes back to what you were saying. Oklahoma has been run-proof. They have not allowed the run for Vandy. Longer possessions now on this side. Jones knocks in another. Boy, his shooters are dialed in today. They're 9 out of 18 from the three-point line.
And entering the day, Jones in SEC play was 6 for 29 from deep. That's 21%.
Look at that bottom left, by the way. Oklahoma has led by double digits for the last 13 and a half minutes and counting. So that three, it'll help Vanderbilt's cause. They are still in a big hole.
Well, right now, Vandy cannot trade points. They must get a defensive stop and then string them together.
Is Oklahoma going to come away with the most impressive win of the afternoon today. Nigel Pack throws in another.
But see the spacing they had. They had shooters on the perimeter, so Pack had room to operate in the paint.
You know, you talked about his recent revival. Nickel nails the three. Pack went through a little shooting slump the middle portion of January. Last handful of games, he has been much more prolific and much better from distance as well. About 50% from beyond the arc his last 4. So after that scrambled sequence, looks like Oklahoma will keep it with 8:30 to play.
As every staff in the country does now, Mark Byington looked to that second row of staffers and just, you know, do we need to challenge this? And he got the quick no.
Yep.
The game has changed in that area in the last 3 years.
You've got to have somebody on your staff, and all these teams do, that is assessing these, you know, very impactful moments very quickly. 8:30 to play.
Yeah, I like Davis, middle of the floor. Exactly where it is.
This is where he and the Sooners have lived. He spins back in. Nigel Pack rises in and out. Is that a foul? It's going to be a foul on Oklahoma.
Kevin, even when Pack misses, his balls rattle in and out. Looks like every shot he's shooting is going to go down.
I would say particularly today. So he is 3 of 7 from distance. That's a 4th foul, by the way, on Wagi.
That means it's the 15th time this year that Pack has made 3 or more threes in a game.
He has had this prolific career. And it started at Kansas State, where he was productive, spent the last 3 years at Miami, galvanized the Hurricanes to the Final Four a few years ago. But then last season did not play a full season. Wound up getting 1 additional year after he was limited to just 9 games a season ago. It was just dealing with a whole bevy of injuries. Hits the portal. Is playing this one final season in Oklahoma. He's had some highs, he's had some lows, but he has been a consistent veteran. His shot gets blocked there. So if you're Vanderbilt, now is the time to strike. Harris, a dribble drive, rises, tosses it up and in. Tyler Harris, 15-point game.
Too much time to back it out if you're Oklahoma. Too much position. Maintain your aggressive style offensively.
Xavier Brown. Oh, everything opens up for the junior from Philly.
Again, that is where Oklahoma has made hay today. Any ball screen action in their pick and roll game has been outstanding.
Tanner, the step back, misfires. And we got a foul on the floor. That's going to be on Vanderbilt. So that was Washington who pulled down Latancev. They're up by 17, Mark.
Here's the same play they've had success in all day long. The screen, the drive, the open lane, the easy finish by Xavier Brown.
It's time for the good hands play. That's brought to you by Allstate.
Whether you're off the bounce, find a three-point shooter. Whether you're on the offensive glass, find a three-point shooter. Oklahoma has been outstanding with their shot selection, their execution in the half court. They're shooting 54%, but more importantly, a nifty 9 for 19 from bonus land. That's 47%. I said at the top, I thought they had to be in double figures to be the hang-around team. Well, they've done that and then some.
They have been a prolific three-point shooting team for much of this season. Tonight, it bears out once again. So the officials, by the way, well, you look at that contact between Jalen Washington and Latancev. That's what our officials are looking at. Is there anything here that's going to potentially upgrade this one to a flagrant one? Is either player guilty of the infamous hook and hold play?
It seemed to me like they both kind of hooked each other at the same time. Now the question becomes, did either one hold the other? And you must have both parts in order for it to be a flagrant. So when the arms kind of connect here on the meet and greet inside, they're both kind of got each other. And I think this is going to be a play on.
We have two F1 fouls, one on 13, one on 15. Because there was no possession at the time of the foul, we will use the arrow, which gives Vanderbilt the ball with a 20-second shot clock.
So both parties were guilty in that sequence.
Yeah. We were right. It was offsetting. They both kind of did it to each other.
Yep. Mark, let's reset this. There's 6:51 left in this game. Vanderbilt has played from behind for almost the entirety of this game, outside of the few seconds after the opening tap.
Well, if I'm Vanderbilt, if I'm Mark Byington, I'm talking about getting this into single digits before the last timeout. So they've got 2.5 minutes to shave 7 points.
Yep. Or else the advantage is just too insurmountable to try to overcome. You need something miraculous. By the way, that lead now just grows for Oklahoma. Darion Reed, you know, they have been relentless in a lot of ways. Oklahoma has been. You know, every time Vanderbilt has attempted to chip away at it, the Sooners have had an answer, and everybody has contributed at different times. It was Davis in the early goings. Here in the second half, Xavier Brown got hot. Nigel Pack has hit threes throughout. We've seen Wagee as a factor, not necessarily just with the scoring, but on the glass. Everybody's had a hand in this nearly 20-point advantage for Oklahoma.
Well, I think it speaks volumes that this is not a just because league. You know, just because you're at home, just because you're the favorite, just because you're the ranked team,
doesn't mean it's going to
go your way.
Yep.
So I know we've got 6 minutes to go, but Oklahoma's been the better team since the opening tip.
Porter Moser's team during this 9-game losing streak, it even is still unthinkable that it has lasted this long, because they have had so many. They've been in close games against quality teams. They have had late leads, and they have had just one too many games go by the wayside that has extended this skid.
Now, does Vanderbilt have a press game? I think you've got to do something different.
Yeah. Got to start taking some risks. Down 17. 6 minutes to play, and Oklahoma is looking for its first win against a ranked opponent this year. And what would be just their second, if you want to get deeper, quad 1 win. That just means really, really quality win. There's Reed off the glass again. They've only got one of those.
Oklahoma has won the one-on-one game with the basketball this entire game.
And Vanderbilt has not on this end of the floor. There was a lot on Tyler Tanner's shoulders, with Duke Miles out for a third straight game and Frankie Collins remaining off the floor. And you have alluded to this a number of times. You know, plus a really capable scorer in A.K. Okereke only winds up playing 3 minutes in the first half.
And that's a big thing. I mean, that's not just a little thing.
You know, and Oklahoma has taken it to him, by the way, considering all that. Forsythe off balance. Well, you thought Brown was going to take it in there. He had beaten McLaughlin off the bounce. Wagee follows and scores. It's been a really fine afternoon for Mohamed Wagee on the glass today.
How good has he been today? How solid has he been?
He's got 9 and 8, Mark, plus a couple of assists. 4:40 to play, and Vandy is up against it. Okereke turns, throws it up. He gets fouled. And Okereke goes to the free throw line. So Mark Byington, is he going to appeal to the officials to see if they would go to the monitor to check if Okereke was pulled down?
Take another look. This is about I think this is Brown pulling the jersey of Okereke, or the arm right there.
Almost as if he was looking for something to brace his fall.
I think we've had a lot worse today.
Yeah. So Mark Byington's team, they had that 1 week break. You know, they had won some games in gritty fashion recently. They had guys out with the flu. Tyler Tanner's going to sit down, by the way. Duke Miles is out for another, what is it, week or two.
Right. Hope to have him back in a week or two. And he's sorely missed. There's no question about it.
Had a knee surgery right after that victory against Mississippi State. That was late January. Status of Frankie Collins, it kind of remains a mystery right now. Byington was very vocal and candid after their win against Ole Miss the other day, saying he is medically cleared. We are supporting him. We want him to be comfortable when he returns. That said, we have invested in him, and we would like to see his motivation to get back on the floor. Here's Reed turning on Nickel. Get it out of here. As Tyler Nickel smacks that one out of play. 2.5 on the shot clock for the Sooners.
Yeah, one last thought on Collins. He's got to get comfortable coming back.
And
that means a lot.
Yeah, we're certainly empathetic as well. You know, if you're Collins coming back, it's a meniscus, it's a knee injury. You want to make sure you're 100% ready to go. Shot clock violation. 4:06 to play. Porter Moser's team is in command right now. Tanner back on the floor.
I think it was 13-3, wasn't it? Didn't we start this game at 13-3 at our first break?
Yep. Vanderbilt has never led, and Oklahoma has been up for all but what, the first 15 seconds. They scored the first basket. That's a foul on the way in. And Xavier Brown is called for the whistle. Oklahoma staring maybe the biggest win in the league in the face today. Angel Pack in particular has got 3 of those makes from distance. He has 15, and he is one of the 3 Sooners in double figures in this very notable outcome to this point.
You're talking about Pack, a guy that scored over 2,000 points in his career, so he's wired to score. What I like is that he did not have a very good game at Kentucky. 6 points, 2 of 6 from deep. That kind of ruined the heater that he was on the previous 3 games. So what does he do today? He comes out and gets back at it again.
Not to mention, by the way, it's not just what they've done from distance. For Oklahoma, most points in the paint in an SEC game. So while we do have a brief moment, let's remind you of our double dip on the men's side Tuesday. So these Commodores will be back in action on the Plains against Auburn. Then you got Arkansas at LSU at 9. The Hogs, with a win earlier today, they remain near the top of the SEC standings. They are in the SEC title race. Darius Acuff in the SEC Player of the Year race, undoubtedly.
Now, if you're Oklahoma, you can bleed a little clock.
Pack draws the foul. You know, the Sooners, again, they have been on the wrong side of so many tight, competitive SEC outcomes. Today, they came out swinging. They came out unafraid and fearless. Yeah, look, here they are. These are all these extremely gut-wrenching losses to this point in SEC play.
And if you're the other end of Mark Byington, I had a friend once tell me in the coaching world, if you coach 32 games a year, twice you're going to play lights out. No rhyme or reason. And twice you're going to stink the joint up.
Yep.
No rhyme or reason. Then you grind out the other 28. Well, maybe this is a stinker by Vanderbilt today. But I would be the first to say it's because of how Oklahoma has played.
Yep. How does Oklahoma look? They lost 9 in a row. They're 3.5 away from closing this one out. How do you use this one as fuel moving forward in their back 9 of their SEC season?
What's possible?
After the 3, a timeout taken by Vanderbilt. And so this is what's coming up for those Sooners.
Well, they picked a good time to have a game like today because they're off midweek. So they don't have a game until next Saturday when they host Georgia before going on the road to Tennessee and A&M. We've talked about A&M all season long. Auburn at home and at LSU. So if you're Oklahoma, I think you want to build toward the tournament. And if along the way you happen to get in Lenardi's conversation, so be it. But just build toward the tournament. This is a big-time step in that direction.
Anything can happen. They have not beaten a bona fide, legitimate, ranked top 25 team this season. And so this one is going to be an important one to add to the resume. 3:15 to go, 16-point cushion for Porter Moser's team.
Interesting that Tay Davis, who I thought scored the first 14 points of the game, is still on 14 points. But he was the table setter early on.
That's bizarre. Speaking of openers, he was the opener on the basketball court. Everybody has had a hand. Everybody has pitched in different ways. Well, if you are going to go into a bye week, you'd like to have a good feeling. They're in position. Less than 3 to play. Brown spins, falls away, a difficult one. Okereke secures it.
Smart offensive possession, though. Utilize clock, get a pretty good look.
Oklahoma shooting better than 50% from the floor. Nickel draws the foul. They were effective at the free throw line. We have underscored their prowess from distance today. They have just quite simply had the upper hand just about in every important category and factor.
How about the contributions off the bench, though? Jones makes a couple of threes. Forsythe has made a couple of threes. So they've not only has everybody played well in their starting lineup, including the X factor Wiggy, but they've gotten some bench production as well.
Yep. I would think, just speaking about how you parlay this moving forward, a lot of the things they did defensively, you want to use that as fuel moving forward, because that has been a bit of their undoing in a number of games this year. Bing draws the foul, so Chandler Bing is going back to the free throw line.
Yeah, this is the one thing you don't want to do if you're Oklahoma. Stop the clock. Let them score a layup.
Yeah. 2:27 to play.
Take another look. Bing attracts the defender, gets the foul, goes to the free throw line. I think the foul was on Davis at the beginning of the drive, I believe. Chandler Bing will go to the free throw line. Not a great free throw shooter, just 52%.
That was Tay Davis's 5th foul, so guess what? He's going to stay on 14. So that's it.
But they were an important 14.
Yep. No, Davis was very impactful today. That was bizarre how that did unfold. 14 in the, it was within the first, 7 minutes of the game, and then nothing else. So Chandler Bing, freshman from Atlanta at the line. I don't know if you caught the breaking news yesterday. Mark Byington announced an addition to the class of 2026. Ross Geller, has been added. Maybe just adding Friends characters as each year. And so we got some players kind of barking at one another.
We've got the Harlem Globetrotter thing going on because they're trying to match up and they keep switching.
That's a good catch.
So eventually the officials are going to go, stop. That's it.
I think everybody's is set. No one's moving here. Now we're ready to go. You got who benefits from the matchup here? Doesn't that happen in baseball? You got the switch pitcher on the mound, and then the switch hitter is trying to switch batters boxes. You know, all of a sudden it's a 13-point game. Oklahoma led by 21 just 2.5 minutes ago.
And they've got to stop fouling.
Vanderbilt looking for a takeaway. They get it across the timeline, and Reed gets it up ahead to Forsythe. He might have shuffled his feet. I was waiting for the whistle, but instead, Oklahoma benefits.
It's only traveling if the whistle goes.
With 2 to play, Sooners by 15. Tanner draws the foul. Count it. And 1. So they are not done yet.
Take another look. Tanner again driving right side. There's 2 hands on the dribbler and then push on the air. I mean, that's a foul. I know coaches don't want to hear that, but that's a foul.
Tyler Tanner has lived at the free throw line. He's going to shoot his 16th and 17th free throws. Yeah, that is pardon me, just the 16th. That is now a career high free throws taken in a game for Tyler Tanner, the sophomore from right here in Nashville.
Again, I'd be tempted to zone one time if I were Oklahoma, just to shake up things, make sure you don't foul.
They're trying to break this press swiftly, and they do. Reed a crossover. Darion Reed to the rim. And so that is how you break that press. Without hesitation. And Reed will be at the line for free throws.
Kevin, watch this for a guy 6'8", 225 with some handles. Attacks Tanner off the bounce. Left-handed between the legs, split defenders, attack the rim. That is big-time stuff.
Darion Reed has showed his versatility so many times this year. McLaughlin was just walked to Vanderbilt's sideline. A little gimpy. Athletic training staff is working on his left leg. Yeah, Reed today has not necessarily been the hot hand offensively. He's only taken 5 shots, but he has scored 10. He's got 3 boards, a couple of assists. You know, he is reliable with it.
But when you combine he and McGee, the production that they have given Porter Moser today in terms of now 20 points and 11 rebounds combined, that's good stuff.
Really important.
You can win with that.
Yep. You have stressed the importance of Wagi in this game, and then as it unfolded, how he answered. I would say if Oklahoma closes the door here, 1:40 left, just a nice, well-rounded performance. Nickel dials up the triple. Timeout, Vanderbilt. So they're not dead yet with 1:34 to play.
This is a little flare screen, if you will, or ghost screen by Nickel to get him open. He doesn't need much of a room. Shoots over the smaller pack. That's his 5th made 3-ball of the day. And for Tyler Nickel, this is, and we talked about the sharpshooters that we had in this game. This is the 13th time this year he has made 3 or more threes, but it's the 5th time he's made 5 or more threes.
You know, over the course of a game, he is very likely, much more often than not, to your point, he's going to get his. And he got off to a little bit of a rocky start shooting the basketball, but he has ultimately hit some big ones in this second half.
Well, now, stranger things have happened than 11 points in 134. So just
no doubt about it.
No final print yet.
Oklahoma is looking for maybe the most notable outcome in the SEC. Now, from their perspective, they're saying, forget that. We want to win. And they have not won since January 3rd, their SEC opener against Ole Miss.
Do you know, and I've been in the position where Porter Moser is in, do you know if you're up 9, you've lost 9 in a row, and there's a minute 34 to go in the game, it seems like an hour and 34 minutes.
Sure. Moser, even throughout this, has been complimentary about how his team has, they have handled this with good attitudes.
Oh, it's a good pass ahead. Keep the ball moving.
Reed fouled. He heads to the free throw line. A capable and reliable one. It's a 1-and-1 now for the sophomore from Grovetown, Georgia.
If you're Vanderbilt, what you're looking to do is trade. So what I mean by that is if he makes 2, I think Vandy needs a 3. You've got to trade. You've got to cut the deficit every possession. If he only makes 1, then you can go for 2.
Yep.
So cut in each time. You can no longer just trade points.
Not enough time.
Not enough time, not enough possessions.
Got to take the risk. These Sooners
now go get you 2.
Yeah, they've won 1 game on the road. They have no wins against a ranked team. They're trying to accomplish both. After that miss, Vanderbilt with it. Nickel, a 3, and he leaves it well short. Vandy, they got to come up.
Yeah, might have gotten tipped a little bit. They didn't look organized to me in their set, what they were trying to accomplish.
And they needed something to go their way right there on that possession.
Take another look. Took him a while to get there. Hard to tell if fingertips got involved there or not. Nickel's been good. Tanner, obviously, with another big-time performance, 25 points. But they need that 3rd score. They need that 3rd double-figure score.
Vanderbilt, they started today 1 game out of first, all right, in the SEC. This is the back half of their conference slate.
Yeah, this is hole number 10, if you will, today. Of their last, after today, they have 5 quad 1 opportunities remaining. Nothing wrong with Vanderbilt's resume. It's going to take a hit a little bit, and it'll cost them probably a seed line, but Lenardi had them, I think, as a 4 seed today.
Yep. Heading into today's action, yep. This one was what's it going to be on the scorecard? Might be a double, triple bogey. A double, I suppose.
Yeah, at home, a double bogey. Yeah.
But to reset things from the Oklahoma perspective, because they have been the better of the 2 teams largely today. So after the steal, Tanner scores it.
Got to fake a pass to make a pass.
58 seconds. Swagee gets fouled. But to reset things, Oklahoma jumped out to a 13-3 lead. They scored first. They had a double-digit lead just a couple of moments into this one. They led by double figures for almost the entirety of the first half, and they have, up until just a few moments ago, led by 10 or more.
Been in control.
Yeah. For the entirety of this second, again, until the Tanner basket.
Last bonus opportunity for Oklahoma. Vanderbilt's response is the same way. If he misses the first, you can go get a 2. You don't have to have a 3. But if he makes them both, yes, you've got to have a 3. Boy, I don't like not having everybody on the free throw line. That changes the repetition part of free throw shooting.
He's a 60% free throw shooter. Nails the first.
Did that even hit the iron?
Mo Wagee playing arguably his best game in league play.
6 Sooners in double figures.
Less than a minute. So now you take, well, Tanner's going to drive, kick it out, 3 in the air. Oh, count it! Okereke going to the line. Is this 4-point play going to shift this one quickly?
Again, why challenge this shot? The closeout is right at the shooter. What a mistake by Wagee, and all of a sudden, what was a 13-point lead about 8 seconds ago is down to 7.
And they led by 21 with 5 minutes to play. So Vanderbilt has swung at 14 points in their direction. You've got Okereke, a very good free throw shooter, going to the line. So all of a sudden, the calculus drastically changes here after the Tanner steal basket and now a potential 4-point play.
So for Vandy, make your free throw, deny the inbounds, maybe one trap, but then you've got a foul. The problem is Vandy's now committed 9, so the next foul will be of the 2-shot variety. If you're Oklahoma, come meet all passes, fake a pass to make a pass.
Yep. Okereke has it back to a 2-score game. 50 seconds left.
I'd be tempted to send somebody long just to make the defense honest.
This is a 17-3 Vanderbilt run. They're back within 6. This is Pack in the backcourt. Whips it ahead. Over to Forsythe. Gets it across. They went for the steal. Now they got to tie him up. So Tanner sends Forsythe to the free throw line. He's a good free throw shooter. Doesn't take many from game to game.
Keep your eye on this out-of-bounds play on Nigel Pack, number 9. He's on the right-hand side right here because everybody else is going to go deep, and he's going to come back to the ball. Everybody goes deep, he circles back. What a nice play, what nice execution.
Oh, my goodness. Left it short. You know, you mentioned maybe the psychological change when you don't have your... But not everybody's on the free throw line. So Forsythe leaves that one short.
It changes the repetition part.
A little angst now on the Oklahoma side. Gets 1 out of 2. And so that does swing Oklahoma back in front by 3 scores. 41.3 to go.
But if you're Oklahoma, you need one stop. And it needs to be right now.
A 17-3 run. After Vandy was down by 20 plus, has vaulted them maybe back in this. They got to get something here. I mean, they cannot afford empty possessions. Tanner rises, scoring. They're back within 5. They're going to go for another steal. 33.2. Brown got to get it in. Brown finds Jones. Jones in trouble. This one is knocked loose. Then we got a foul. It's a foul on Oklahoma. Vandy's at the line to shoot 2.
Jones did the right thing by attacking the angle that he presented himself with the ball, but his legs got crossed up. Watch Jones again come into your picture. He does the right thing, but then he kind of gets wrong-footed. And then again, you've got to have a lower base.
Boy, this all of a sudden, is now becoming, it's no longer just a maybe. Vanderbilt with this free throw is down 1 score with 29 seconds to go. They just turned Oklahoma over in the backcourt a few moments ago.
Same thing for Vandy. Deny, trap, foul.
The Sooners led by 21 with 5 to play. It's a 1-score game. Oklahoma's got 2 timeouts. Vanderbilt out of timeouts. 1-score game. Knock away. They'll inbound it again. Nickel deflected the pass.
But
Oklahoma, yeah, they're facing a lot of resistance here in the backcourt.
But now Forsyth cannot run the baseline because it got knocked out of bounds.
Great call. And because of that, Porter Moser uses his timeout. He's got one left. The Sooners were up 19. They were up 19 with 3:20 to play. Let's reset it. Oklahoma does have the one remaining timeout. The possession arrow, it favors the Commodores.
So if I'm Oklahoma, I'm going back to that, what I call the fly pattern play, where you send people long and have somebody circle back. But Forsyth or whoever is the inbounder has to know now that you cannot run the baseline. If it's Vanderbilt, it's a complete all-out deny, one trap. If you don't get it, then you've got a foul.
Let me correct myself, by the way. Oklahoma has the possession arrow. So if there isn't any tie-up, OU would have it. 28.1. The Sooners know what's coming. Vandy's going to be going for the steal, and if not, they'll go for the foul.
Yeah, I'm curious who takes this out, because Vandy's going to put Harris, a bigger player, on the ball. Brown's taking it out. They're going to try to get this. Yeah, they're going to try to get this ball to Pack.
What sort of wild finish do we have here in Nashville? Brown is looking. He can't move. Bounce it to Forsyth in the corner, trying to fight three. Knocked away. Ball back to Oklahoma. That was jarred out by Washington.
I'd like to see the ball stay in the middle of the floor. They're getting themselves trapped in that corner.
They are having immense trouble now. Getting it out of the backcourt and into the front. Is it a turnover? They threw it away. Vanderbilt has it with a chance to maybe tie. 24.5 to go. No timeouts for Vandy.
Take another look. That's not coming to the ball. He's not open. Forsyth kind of panics there. Pack was just not open. Pack was just not open. Here's what they've done in games decided by 5 points or less or in overtime.
We're going to hold off for a moment. Courtney Green just ran over, maybe to check timing. 25 seconds till they add about a half a second to the timer. So what's Vandy going to do right here?
It does not have to be a three.
No timeouts for the Commodores. Okereke. Dribble drive. Okereke lost the handle. Pack is on it. There's a tie-up. Possession arrow favors Oklahoma. They knock it away from Okereke to now flip the script. 19.4 to play.
Going to his left. I think Pack was the help defender here. Right there, right side of the screen. That's good hands by Forsyth. There's Pack as the help defender.
A critical sleight of hand that time by the sophomore from Dale, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I still think you've got to send somebody long. You've got to do misdirection here.
Reed inbounds it. Darion Reed. Oh, they nearly throw it away again, but it's Jones who gets fouled. Oh, my goodness.
That was a turnover.
Nearly another. They've had all sorts of trouble inbounding in the backcourt the last couple minutes.
This was a pass to no one. I mean, there's nobody there, and Jones just saves the day, being Johnny on the spot.
Jadon Jones, an 82% free throw shooter. Somehow, Oklahoma's at the line with the chance to go back up by 2 scores. He gets one more chance now after the miss.
Just another day in the SEC.
But Porter Moser said, all right, enough with the jacket, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody's sweating this one out. Nwankwo. Is he going to check in here? They're going to potentially check in if they were to make the free throw, you would think. Jadon Jones, the veteran from Long Beach. He's got to have it. 4-point lead. So it's a 2-score advantage for OU. Vanderbilt with 19 seconds. No timeouts again for the Commodores. They have somehow scratched and fought and clawed their way back from at one point down 19. 3 minutes ago at the 3:20 mark, they were down 19.
I'm letting Tanner get all the way to the rim. Well, not now. They're going to want, yeah, that got to get moving. Got to be
it's
ready.
A throwaway. Forsythe fouled with 10.7. Tanner was looking for Okereke, and that is twice where Okereke has just fumbled it.
Little shovel pass, and I think this is Washington.
That was Washington,
yeah.
pardon me.
His hands were down by his side. Big guys, you see, he was too late to get his hands up. Now, the pass was a bullet pass in short space there with a lot of traffic. But again, how wild has this last 3 minutes been?
Let's put it this way. Neither team has essentially grabbed it and tried to run away with it. There have been several turnovers that have plagued Oklahoma that allowed Vanderbilt to get back in. The Commodores have now turned it over twice with opportunities to either tie or cut into the deficit. And now you have Forsythe at the line. With these 2 free throws, it would be a 6-point advantage with 10.7 left.
Well, for Vanderbilt, it's simply they have to have a 3 in response, no matter what Forsythe does. Well, you're talking about a guy who was 23 for 27 entering today at the free throw line, but you cannot simulate this kind of pressure, and he's missed 2.
If he misses this, they still got to be a 3.
Yes.
He makes it. Oklahoma by 5, 10.7. Or they have really gotten tight in crunch time. However, they still have the 2-score lead. 9 seconds. Tanner has got to put something up. Tanner with 6 to play. Tanner for 3. 5.2 to go. It's a 2-point game.
No timeouts. You've got to deny.
Vanderbilt going to be really aggressive.
Forsythe can run the baseline.
Oklahoma does have the 1 timeout. Does Porter want it? He's going to use it. He takes the timeout, his last timeout. Oh my goodness, Tyler Tanner's 3 has it back to a 2-point game, miraculously with 5.2 left.
This was at the V logo. Watch how deep this shot is. I'm not kidding. He's got a foot on the V logo, nothing but bottom, and all of a sudden it's a 2-point game. So the only way that, in my opinion, the only way Oklahoma loses this is if they turn the ball over. But they've done that in the last 2 or 3 minutes. So for Vanderbilt, Mark Byington, they're going to talk about deny, and then you've got to foul right away. You can't wait to trap. You've got to deny all over and then foul. If you're Oklahoma, take a look at Tyler Tanner and what he's done today. 34-9, kind of a ho-hum career high, right? Yeah. But if you're Oklahoma, I'm going to go back to the play of sending people long and circling somebody back. I think that kind of misdirection throws the defenders, the deniers, off balance.
Can't afford to be trapped in the corner. Again, Oklahoma has struggled. Yeah, facing this pressure in the backcourt the last minute or 2 of game action. Mark, what a wacky one.
Oh,
these Sooners led by 19 with 3:20 left in the game. At that point, boy, we're looking ahead thinking, here's Oklahoma maybe going into their bye week with a very impressive victory. And now they've got to get this ball in. They've got to handle the pressure and the foul, and they got to convert those free throws, or else you give Vanderbilt one last opportunity in the waning seconds.
Now let's see who takes the ball out for Oklahoma. I think Pack knows he can run the baseline. He just coordinated that with Courtney Green. Send somebody deep, curl them back to the ball. Come meet all passes.
Final 5.2. Pack to Brown. His defender slipped. They're trying to foul, and Xavier Brown gets fouled. 3.4 left. So nearly 2 seconds come off the clock. And Mark, you have got the SEC's most reliable free throw shooter at the line. And let's put it this way. He makes them both. That's it.
Well, fouling comes into play if he makes one. Because I'm a foul believer. If I'm Oklahoma and he only makes one, I'm fouling. But you've got to be smart about it because the continuous motion has changed the way you can foul the three-point shooter before he gets into that motion.
Absolutely, and we have seen so many of those occasions.
You and I had that game, the Alabama situation.
Yep. Here's the productive point guard, Xavier Brown. One half of the job done.
Well, now he can end all discussion. Unless Oklahoma fouls another three-point shooter.
Well, with a 3.4 left, you just let him inbound.
Be a statue.
Yeah. This one essentially for the game. Brown converts. Xavier Brown has got OU back up by 2 scores. And this junior from Philly, who has been so productive in so many of these close losses, has got most of his 20 points in the second half. And Oklahoma, you said it. I mean, why defend anything right now? It's going to take, you would think, more than 3.5 seconds. Right. Now, unless they lob it deep into the front court,
I'm letting everything go.
Yeah, this time is just going to tick off here. 1 second. Tanner lets it go. Oklahoma survives. That one will count. And so it'll be a footnote in what was a 1-point win. A game in which Oklahoma played so well for much of the game. They lose the late, large lead, but they get their first win against a ranked team this season in crunch time.
I think they won this game in the first 3 quarters, if you will, of this game because they dominated that middle third. Their pick and roll game was on point, and congrats to the Sooners.
So that's all for us in Nashville. Boy, we squeezed out every ounce of drama in that one. For Mark and the crew, I'm Kevin saying so long. We move on now.